Travis Kelce just shook the NFL world with his blunt comments about Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns. The Chiefs star didn't hold back, even calling out Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski in the process. Fans are buzzing over what this means for Sanders' future and the growing tension between NFL stars and coaches. Don't miss the full breakdown. Subscribe now for daily celebrity and sports drama updates. When a three-time Super Bowl champion, Travis Kelce speaks, the entire NFL pays attention. He's not just a future Hall of Famer, not just one of the most recognizable tight ends in football. He's a guy with the kind of voice that carries straight into locker rooms and front offices. And the message he just sent? It wasn't subtle. Kelce publicly spoke out about Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns quarterback situation. And he didn't just offer polite compliments. He flat out said that people want to see Shedeur on the field, that he's the reason fans will buy tickets, watch games, and rally behind Cleveland. Coming from Kelce, that's not just talk, that's pressure. Think about it. We aren't even at week 1, and yet Shedeur's name is echoing through conversations led by legitimate NFL stars. First, Cam Ward showed support. Now Travis Kelce. The momentum is growing. If this many players are itching to see Sanders play, before he's even taken a pro snap, how long before the buzz becomes too loud for the Browns to ignore? Cleveland may have announced Joe Flacco as the starter, with Dillon Gabriel backing him up and Shedeur buried as the third-string emergency option. But hype has a way of flipping depth charts upside down, especially when it's fueled by stars inside the league and millions of fans outside of it. And here's the twist. This isn't just about talent anymore. It's about excitement. It's about selling out stadiums, skyrocketing jersey sales, and giving fans something Cleveland quarterbacks rarely give them: hope. Travis Kelce made it clear. This isn't about disrespecting Flacco or Gabriel. It's about the undeniable magnetism of Shedeur Sanders, which raises one massive question. What happens when one of the NFL's most respected champions starts echoing the same chants that Browns fans are only beginning to whisper? When Travis Kelce opened his mouth about Shedeur Sanders, he wasn't just another commentator adding noise to the cycle. This is a three-time Super Bowl champion, an active NFL star, and one of the league's most respected voices. That makes his opinion heavy. When guys like Kelce speak, coaches, front offices, and players take notice. Because he's lived it, won it, and earned credibility few others have. And what exactly did he say? Kelce didn't tiptoe. He went all in. He admitted that he wants to see Shedeur Sanders get his chance. He called Sanders exciting, a natural showman, the type of quarterback who could put eyes on the Cleveland Browns that otherwise wouldn't be there. In his words, Shedeur isn't just another third-string kid sitting in the shadows. He's entertainment, energy, and marketability rolled into one. What makes that statement even louder is the fact that Kelce is a Clevelander himself. He knows the local buzz. He hears the voices of Browns fans wanting something new, something different. And instead of playing it politically safe, Kelce joined the chorus. That's when whispers start feeling like chants. For a struggling quarterback room like Cleveland's, this isn't a small deal. A respected veteran across the league publicly rooting for a young rookie QB puts the conversation on blast. ESPN notices. Talk radio catches fire. Local outlets can't ignore it. And just like that, what started as speculation suddenly feels like an actual movement. This is how pressure begins to build before a season even starts. Not from losing streaks, not from fan frustration alone, but from star players nudging the conversation forward, amplifying it until the coaching staff has to respond. Kelce might not play for the Browns, but his voice just intensified the spotlight on their quarterback situation. And the scariest part for Cleveland, Travis isn't the only one. Travis Kelce might have lit the spark, but he's not the only one giving Shedeur Sanders unexpected momentum. Just days before Kelce's comments, Cam Ward, a first-round draft pick himself, went public showing love and support for Sanders. That's not just friendly chatter. When a young quarterback who's already earned league recognition takes the time to spotlight someone buried at QB3, it sends a clear message. The players see something the media still questions. And Ward isn't likely to be the last. Kelce even hinted at it himself, speculating what it would mean if big stars like Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson eventually chimed in on the situation. Imagine that for a second. The face of the NFL and one of the league's most electric playmakers, both throwing their weight behind Sanders. At that point, it isn't a fan movement anymore. It's a league-wide conversation. This is unusual territory. Most rookie quarterbacks fight through training camp in silence, hoping for a lucky break. Few ever have active superstars rooting for them before week 1. The pressure is different this time because the story isn't just being pushed by fans in comment sections. It's being validated by proven champions and respected names inside locker rooms. That transforms Shedeur Sanders from a Cleveland project into someone football fans across the country want to see. Because when players recognize talent, it carries weight. They've faced it, they've studied it, and they know before anyone else if the hype is real. And right now, the hype is real. But if players are pushing for Sanders, it begs the obvious question: why is Cleveland ignoring it? On the surface, the Browns' quarterback situation looks settled. Joe Flacco is the starter, Dillon Gabriel is the backup, and Shedeur Sanders is tucked away as an emergency option. But anyone who's followed Cleveland knows this setup is about as fragile as glass in a storm. Let's start with Joe Flacco. Yes, he's a Super Bowl MVP. Yes, he still makes the occasional highlight throw, but he's also 40 years old, limited in mobility, and playing the game on borrowed time. It only takes one awkward hit, one late season slump, and suddenly Cleveland is scrambling again. Then there's Dillon Gabriel. Young and promising, sure, but inconsistent. Reports suggest he's still struggling with reads, adjusting to NFL speed, and proving he can handle real game situations. He has talent, but he's raw, and the Browns can't afford another stalled project in a season where the stakes are already sky high. Which leaves Shedeur. He's technically third string, but the truth is, Cleveland's QB depth chart has cracks all over it. Fans already know it. Insiders are whispering about it. And now with NFL stars adding their voices, the future could show up much sooner than anyone planned. This is where the tension lies. Do the Browns stick with the safe plan of veterans and rookies who don't inspire excitement? Or do they embrace the mounting pressure from fans, media, and players who keep asking the same question? Why not give Shedeur a chance? In Cleveland, a quarterback controversy isn't new, but this time feels different because the biggest threat to the Browns' plan isn't coming from the field. It's coming from the voices outside of it. And if history has shown us anything, ignoring the wave only makes it louder. The NFL has a golden rule. Talent matters, but money talks louder. And when it comes to Shedeur Sanders, the financial side of the story is impossible to ignore. Before even taking a pro snap, Sanders led all rookies in jersey sales. Reports estimate his merchandise has already pulled in around $250 million. Let that sink in. While sitting third on the Browns' depth chart, he's outselling players drafted first round. That's not potential, that's proof of influence, marketability, and a fan base hungry to support him. For Cleveland, this is where things get interesting. Fans might argue about playbooks and QB rotations, but ownership and executives always track the bottom line. Empty seats don't pay the bills. Mediocre quarterbacking doesn't bring in sponsors. And right now, Sanders is the rare player who guarantees eyeballs. Whether he throws touchdowns or just warms up on the sideline, people want to see him. And when Travis Kelce says Sanders would put eyes on screens and bring people to the game, he's not just making small talk. He's echoing what every franchise marketing department is already thinking. Shedeur doesn't just represent a football opportunity, he represents a business opportunity. The Browns haven't had a national draw at quarterback in decades. They've had names, experiments, and hype cycles, but none of them have turned into what Sanders already is, a walking business model. And here's the tricky part. Once you realize that much money is circling your QB3, it's almost impossible to treat him like an afterthought. Because in the NFL, pressure from the fans is one thing, but pressure from the financial books, that's what actually makes decisions change. In the NFL, once the media gets a taste of a story, it doesn't go away, it grows. That's exactly what's happening with Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland. Right now, he's not just a rookie quarterback, he's a headline magnet. The moment Travis Kelce dropped his comments, clips instantly spread across social media. ESPN tossed it into debate shows. Local Cleveland outlets dissected it. Fans stitched reaction videos by the thousands. And that's before Sanders has even been given a real snap in the pros. But here's where it escalates: the chants. Once fans start chanting a name inside the stadium, it creates a moment no front office can ignore. The broadcast picks up the audio, Twitter X explodes, and suddenly every headline the next day asks, are the Browns making a mistake keeping Shedeur on the sideline? We've seen this happen before. Tebow time in Denver, Johnny Manziel hysteria in Cleveland. Even Baker Mayfield got relentless chants before he ever proved himself. The difference with Sanders? His buzz isn't just fueled by fans, it's being amplified by fellow players and by sheer star power. That adds credibility to the pressure. And when the Browns hit their first rough stretch with Flacco or Gabriel, those whispers will turn into stadium-wide roars. Not after Week 10, not halfway through the season, but early. It could start by Week 1. The Browns don't just have a quarterback on their roster. They've got an entire spotlight waiting to follow him on. And that spotlight only grows brighter the longer they keep Shedeur standing on the sideline. Because the media circus isn't slowing down. It's just warming up. Hype alone doesn't win football games. Fans can chant all they want, and media can pound the table every morning. But when the ball snaps, either a quarterback delivers or he doesn't. That's why the Shedeur Sanders buzz is so fascinating, because the hype might actually line up with reality. Watch his practice sessions, and you'll see it right away. His mechanics are crisp. His release is smooth. His decision-making under pressure looks ahead of where most rookies sit. And remember, he's been going up against the Browns' defense in practice, one of the fiercest units in the entire league, stacked with stars like Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward. Iron sharpens iron, and every rep against that group is like running drills against a playoff opponent. For Sanders, it's trial by fire in the best possible way. What really separates him, though, is his composure. Most rookie quarterbacks show panic, happy feet, late throws, quick mistakes. Sanders leans the other way, calm in the pocket, confident in his reads, comfortable commanding a huddle. These aren't qualities you teach overnight. These are traits that stick. And don't forget the mental side. Growing up with Deion Sanders as your father isn't just about having an athletic gene. It's about learning how to handle the noise, the spotlight, the pressure. Shedeur has been living in that world for years, and instead of shrinking under it, he thrives. So maybe fans aren't pulling for him just because of hype, or Kelce's comments, or those massive jersey sales. Maybe, just maybe, there's an actual quarterback behind the buzz, one who's ready to silence doubters at the first real opportunity. And if Cleveland gives him that shot, they may never look back. In the NFL, it only takes one moment to change everything. One injury, one bad half, one ugly interception at the wrong time. And in Cleveland, that moment feels less like if and more like when. Joe Flacco is steady but aging. Dillon Gabriel is talented but raw. That combination alone makes the Browns' quarterback room a ticking clock. And when, not if, something goes wrong, The chants already bubbling in the background will erupt in full force. We want Shedeur! The explosion point doesn't even have to come mid-season. Imagine week 2 or 3. Flacco throws a couple of picks. Gabriel struggles when given relief snaps, and the Browns' offense stalls. The cameras pan across the stadium as fans chant for Sanders. The broadcasters mention it. Twitter X lights up with clips. Suddenly, it's not just fans and media, it's a national conversation. History shows how quickly stories like this can flip. Tom Brady began as a 6th-round afterthought until Drew Bledsoe got hurt. Kurt Warner was bagging groceries before one opportunity made him a Super Bowl MVP. The NFL thrives on these chaos-driven storylines, and Shedeur fits that mold perfectly. Underestimated, overlooked, but quietly prepared. That explosion point is the pressure cooker scenario Cleveland can't escape. Once it happens, Shedeur will either ride the wave or sink under it. But here's the thing. Players from Cam Ward to Travis Kelce clearly believe he's the type who rides it all the way. And the Browns? They might have planned to hide him at QB3, but when that inevitable turning point comes, Shedeur Sanders could very well sprint through the open door and never look back. The Browns may have entered this season with a plan. Flacco as the veteran leader, Gabriel as the developmental project, and Shedeur Sanders tucked away as the emergency fallback. But plans don't survive long in the NFL, especially not when the spotlight grows this bright. Before Week 1 has even arrived, Sanders is already bigger than your typical rookie third stringer. His jersey sales eclipse stars. His name trends online without needing to take the field. NFL champions like Travis Kelce are openly campaigning to see him play. When that much momentum builds before the season even unfolds, it's not a coincidence, it's a shift. And Cleveland has been here before. They've watched quarterback after quarterback cycle in and out of the lineup, searching for the one. The irony is brutal. After decades of overpaying vets, missing on draft picks, and riding a literal carousel of starters, the Browns might finally have an answer sitting quietly at QB3. That's what makes this moment so compelling. Sanders isn't just hype, he's opportunity. He represents a quarterback the world wants to see, one that teammates could rally behind, one that makes financial sense, and one that captures something Cleveland fans haven't felt in years: excitement. The Browns can try to resist the noise. They can double down on depth charts and reassure the press. But sooner or later, the chants, the headlines, the financial pull, and the on-field necessity will collide at once. And when it happens, Shedeur Sanders will step out from the shadows and into the center of the storm. The only question left is simple. When the inevitable shift arrives, will Cleveland finally embrace it?